Craig Macrae, welcome to CNN News 18.
Thank you.
Craig, you are one of the most talked about action director today we have in Bollywood, and you're getting a lot
Oh,
of praise for the thrilling action sequences for the
oh,
film Skyforce.
yes. Oh, thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you. That's very flattering.
So then to start with, what was the inspiration when you designed the action sequences for this Akshay Kumar starrer? There are a lot of blasts we see on the air bases, planes are being destroyed.
Yeah. So aviation has been something that's been very close to my heart for a long time. I believe in vibration and putting out energies into the universe and things coming back to you. And actually, a little while before that, we were busy working on BMCM at the time. And I said to my wife, Katya, who's my partner, we do everything together. I was like, man, I wish we could do something that was around action and aviation. I really want to get something that has to do with aviation. And a few days later, this opportunity turned up. Akshay, we were working with him on BMCM, and he came to me and he said, "Hey, I want to set up a meeting with you and the team of the next project that I'm on. It's called Skyforce. It's this thing about fighter jets and this really intense story about a historical event that happened and everything like that." And I was like blown away by that. I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" Ask the universe and you shall receive, kind of thing. But the inspiration behind the project and everything was really just a pouring out of passion, of my passion for aviation, my love for aviation, and then of course a healthy dose of the good old action that people love to see on screen: large explosions, big scenes, with lots of action going on. We had a lot of fun on this one because we had the opportunity to depict very large scale things. Obviously, air base attacks. There's a lot going on when you have a military base and air base being attacked like that. And luckily, the production and the whole team that was behind the project was 100% behind myself and the action team. They gave us everything that we needed and everything that we wanted to be able to create a huge action spectacle in this way. So we had a heck of a lot of fun. We did a lot of very cool scene work out in India on some of the studio grounds and things like that. And then we also traveled to places like the UK, and we had some very advanced technology to be able to do all of the realistic movement on the jets, the cockpit bodies, on motion rigs and everything. So it was a heck of a lot of fun and a lot of scope for us to be able to create very cool action.
So then what kind of challenges it throws for an action director when a large part of the film has action sequences like shown in Skyforce?
Mhm. A lot of the challenges, so some of the challenges involved around shooting aerial action is that you're dealing with a very multi-dimensional world. So, for instance, when we were doing the cockpit shoot, where we've got our actors inside of a set piece cockpit that we built, and we have it on a motion rig so that it's creating realistic movement, and then we have a camera that's on a 3-axis head that is busy moving around that to depict this aerial battle and these scenes that are happening in the air. There are a lot of very different variables that are going on during that. So that was quite a challenge in that we had to make sure that all of the movement on the SimTrav rig was corresponding with the movement that you would get in the air, and translating that to a studio space can be difficult sometimes. Obviously, we don't have a rig that can turn 360 degrees. So if we have to do rolls, for instance, we had to come up with all sorts of rigs that would depict this correctly on screen, with the limitations that we had in the studio. So that was quite fun. Also, being an aviator myself, I'm a pilot as well. I knew all of the dynamics that were required for flight, to make sure that everything looked realistic, and the G forces that were on the pilots looked realistic. They had to depict these G forces and everything, and have the proper breathing and everything that military pilots or aviators use to be able to fight G forces and all those sorts of things. So there was a lot that was going on there. And then, of course, all of the stuff that was on the ground. That's something that we've done for a very long time. Our entire career, we've been designing and executing all kinds of action like this. But we had some very large explosions, and we had to really try and depict the reality of what an airbase attack would be like. You have people on the ground that have 500-pound bombs or 2,000-pound bombs that are being dropped on munitions stores and on jets that are loaded with munitions as well and everything. So we had to really show the scale of the destruction and of the power of these kinds of attacks, which was a challenge because you don't just have one person who's flying, you often have 5 or 6 people that are busy flying through the air at the same time. Once these large explosions go off, or once you have a gun run coming in from a jet, So, and of course, we wanted to depict the chaos as well. You don't only have one aircraft that's attacking a base. Usually there's an entire squadron of aircraft that's busy bombing the space and doing gun runs. So to get all of those elements properly layered so that it truly or truthfully depicts the chaos of an air attack was quite a challenge. But again, luckily we had a production that was behind us, and I had a very, very good stunt team who all supported us in the Indian side and on the South African side. So it was a pleasure to work on,
Sure. Now, you've been working in Bollywood from many years now.
Mm.
Also, the man behind the action sequences for two Shah Rukh Khan starrer.
Yes.
Feel the pressure of delivering high octane action sequences that will match the charisma of Shah Rukh Khan when you were working on Pathaan and Jawaan.
Yes, of course. I mean, there's always a lot of pressure from various angles. Obviously, we have the responsibility of making sure that people's investment is taken care of. Like when YRF invests in a film like Pathaan, for instance, they place a lot of trust in myself and my team to create and to deliver a very high level of action. So there's a lot of pressure from that side. Of course, we want to make sure that we're doing legends like Shah Rukh Khan justice as well. But these pressures are manageable from years and years of experience. We've been under that kind of pressure a lot in the past. And one of the things that I always remember is that it's my inspiration, or it's my input that they're after. They've placed their trust in me to deliver that, and I just need to stay true to who I am and what I believe I can deliver. And I just allow my imagination to run wild. A lot of top actors will tell you that you can't be afraid of failure. If you're afraid of failure, you're not going to be in a space where you can truly be creative. So I focus on the creativity of it, and I try not to think too much about how people are going to judge it or anything like that. And I truly try to deliver my honest version of what I think would be cool.
So then, were there inputs that came from SRK for both Pathaan and Jawaan?
We had quite a few meetings for both movies with Shah Rukh. He was Shah Rukh is an incredible person. He's an inspiration to me. He's a really, really down-to-earth human being. He has such a good heart, and a highly, highly intelligent man. And for Pathaan, he invited us to his home so that we could sit down and we could talk about the character and what he envisioned this thing being, and how he wanted to bring this character to life and everything. And I tried my best to design action around that so that I could support that vision and I could help him bring that character to life. So there were a lot of inputs that he gave in those meetings as well. All of them were vital because it helps me create a picture for this action hero. And Jawaan was also a very, very complex one because of the situation with Shah Rukh as well. He was depicting multiple characters in multiple different kind of stages of their life. So we poured over details on how this character should feel, how he moves, what his backstory has been like, in order to try and properly represent that character in all of the movement and all of the action. We're action specialists. That's what we do. We could design cool action all day long, but if it's not properly motivated by the character and the backstory of that character and the state that they're in, action looks empty. So once it's driven by story and it's backed up by a strong character and a really good backstory, that's when action really comes to life. And Shah Rukh is amazing at delivering his idea about what this character is and how he feels. He's really great at communicating that as well. He does rehearse, he puts in all the work as well, but very often on the day, he will say, oh, hey, I've got this idea. Can I try and do this to bring this character a little bit more flair or a little bit more color and everything? And he is amazing at he's physically very gifted as well. He's obviously worked very hard on his body for a very long time. So it's he's physically in touch with himself as well, and he can integrate any kind of physical requirement that we have very quickly. He's a very talented, very well-rounded actor.
You also bagged a SAG award for George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road. That stars
Yes.
Tom
Yeah.
Hardy and Theron. And we all
Yes. Yes.
remember that the film opened with that high speed chase sequence that actually sets the tone of the film.
Mm.
Uh, out of the many sequences, which is your favorite action sequence from Mad Max Fury Road?
So Mad Max, part of that award was I was a part of the ensemble, so a part of the team, you know. So really the credit goes to the entire stunt team on that show. It was an incredible project to work on. I felt very privileged to have been a part of that, and that I could contribute in some small way, just like everybody did as well. But really, the credit is to the action designers, to Guy Norris and those guys. They're incredible. They did some incredible work on that show. That entire project was one incredible sequence after the next. I don't even have a favorite, just because the whole thing, the entire project for me was a once in a lifetime experience. It was absolutely amazing, and I still hold it very dear. You know, nearly 15 years later after having shot it, it was an amazing experience. Yeah.
You know, today there's a big debate going on about the use of AI, which is now
Yes.
inevitable if you see for the action sequences.
Yes.
Uh, is it really a blessing? And what role does AI play when you are designing action for a movie? I mean, do you see this as an advantage? And how much of CGI were used in Skyforce?
So AI as a whole, it can either be a massive threat, or it can be a really useful tool. It depends on the people that are in the industry and how they use it, you know, or how they perceive it. Obviously, a lot of people feel threatened by it because it's replacing a lot of traditional roles, you know, and it is a very powerful system. It allows you to be able to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do in the past. So I like to view those kinds of advancements as tools. If we learn how to use those things to our advantage, and we can integrate it into the way that we do things into the future, I think that it opens up and unlocks a whole bunch of doors for us. So it'll allow us to design things and to deliver a concept design very accurately, whereas in the past it was more difficult to communicate to somebody else, to a production or to an actor, for instance, what exactly you were visualizing. The use of AI and VFX and those sorts of things now gives us the ability to really mold a world out of nothing and make it a physical thing that we're able to show and pitch. And in VFX, in Skyforce, we used a lot of it. I mean, we used pre-visualizations that were basically just CGI mock-ups of what we were going to shoot. And that was a very important tool for us for when we were actually shooting, because we understood the three-dimensional world that we were in. Obviously, when you're in the air, you're busy moving left, right, up, down. There's all sorts of movements. So the pre-visualization and the VFX previs that we had created was integral for the actors to know exactly where they should be looking, how we were rolling the aircraft, where the cameras should be moving. So if you can integrate all of these tools, it only makes you a better professional and will help you in your career rather than threatening you and hindering you.
Your next big venture is Alpha, that stars Alia Bhatt.
Yes.
What can
Mm.
you tell us about it? What kind of action can we expect from Alpha?
I can't tell you anything. It's all secret. No, no. It was an incredible film, a nice new challenge for us as well. You know, it being a female-led action star, it's when I spoke to the producer about it, Adi, he said, "Look, this is something that we really want to do. We want to bring this new concept to Bollywood. It's been tried before, but not very successfully, and they wanted to go all in and create something that would really blow audiences away." And I said to him at the time, I was like, "We are 100% behind this. We love this idea. We've been waiting to do something like this. You know, that's purely a female-led action movie." But I also told him that it would depend very heavily on how the actresses, how much energy and effort the actresses put into it. And Alia and Shahri gave 110%. We were blown away by their work ethic and how much energy they poured into this venture. So they were training for months before we even arrived. We had a stunt guy who came down from America. His name is Jason, and he did all of the foundational work with them, training with them for weeks on end, literally every day. And no matter how sore the girls were or how much of a battering their body had taken, they were there every day giving it their all to be able to have the skills so that they could execute this movie.
I think will we see a lot of hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah, there's a big mix of action in there. Obviously, the whole movie is centered around these girls and their story. I can't give away too much. But there's a lot of hand-to-hand combat. There's a lot of knife work and gun work in there as well, with a nice spattering of the traditional action pieces as well. You know, some great large-scale stuff as well, and we've got some helicopters in there and some vehicle work in there. It's going to be a spectacle.
How was the experience of directing Alia Bhatt? I mean, she's of course #1 star in the country today, #1 actress.
Yeah. So working with Alia and with Shahri was incredible. They're both very, very hardworking actors, very good professionals. They're always on time. They always make sure that they know what they need to do for the day. Alia is a lovely person as well. She's a very caring, very giving person as well. She was so considerate. She gave all of our stunt team a nice little thank you bag after the movie had finished and everything like that. So she truly was a pleasure to work with.
You know, next year, Academy of Motion Pictures Art and Sciences will be introducing Best Casting Award.
Ah, okay.
There also has been demand from many years for an Oscar for the Best Stunt Coordinator. When do you think that Academy will start acknowledging the contribution of stunt coordinators for the movies and will start honoring them?
Things are changing very quickly. There's been a lot of attention and a lot of coverage about this exact topic over the last few years. And I think things are shifting in that direction where stunt coordinators, stunt performers, fight choreographers, everyone who's in the action world is going to be recognized very soon. I think there's a lot more recognition that's coming already. You know, we have the Taurus Stunt Awards. There's the Safa Stunt Awards in South Africa that we're busy doing as well. So there's a lot of attention around actually thanking the people that literally risk their lives to make these stars look good and to make the movies that we watch look great. You know, there's been a traditional sense in the film industry for a long time that we shouldn't tell anyone that there was a stunt double that did something, or, you know, we should hide the fact that we've got these people designing this action or helping execute. I don't think that's fair. I think that the entire industry deserves praise for the things that they do. You know, I mean, we've got incredible camera operators, amazing art designers that create these sets, costume designers, casting directors. I think everybody should have just a little bit of recognition and a little bit of thanks for the work that they do. And I don't think stunts are any different. You know, stunts are often the driving force, and action designers are often the driving force behind these massive blockbusting movies that are entirely centered around action. You know, action movies are some of the biggest, it is the biggest genre in the world that people watch. So an Oscar for action designers and for stunt people, you know, for stunt performers as well. You just like with actors, you get best performance stunt, best acting awards. You should get an award for a stunt guy that does an incredible job as well. You know, I think a little bit of a nod and a thank you to the people who, you know, put their lives on the line and have dedicated their entire lives to this craft is not too much to ask for.
Well, congratulations again for the success of Skyforce.
Thank
There's
you.
going to be a lot of success for all your future projects. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you very much.